Hello friends and welcome to Enterprise Architecture. This is my new streaming series where I'm playing some of my favorite games. As you all know, Update 6 of Satisfactory just came out, so I'm really excited to check out the new maps and see what they've added since the last time we've played. Now, I will note that this is modded Satisfactory. I'm not playing the vanilla version. We've added some enhancements here to help us out a little bit along the way. But some of my favorite mods I did note are not quite ready for Update 6. Refined power being one of the big ones I really love to use. Solar, wind power, it's just really, really fun to me. But we're going to play through what we've got today, what's ready for Update 6, and as new mods are released, we'll add them as we play. So, let's get started. So, we're here at the Rocky Coast. I've never started a map on the Rocky Coast before. I usually stick to those mid-grasslands that everybody is familiar with, but this seems like a nice place to start our adventure. I also see that we've got a little lizard doggo friend who's already starting to creep up on us over here. So, see what other friends that we can make along the way as we go. Now, I've traveled a little bit around the map to find a couple of places that look like a good starting point on this particular map. I like this area, this North Mountain bit, because it's got a lot of the beginning resources that we're going to need here for early game. You've got your limestone set up so you can start building your foundations. You've got some iron, you've got some copper, everything that you need to really get that first initial base started. As you can see here, we also need a whole lot of leaves to start giving us that biofuel for early game. Now, generally speaking, I like to play on passive mode, but the passive mode mod also has not yet been fixed, so we're going to have to take out a couple of these spitters before we get too much further. Hopefully we don't end up going down with them. As you all can probably see, I'm terrible at combat, which is why I love playing in passive mode. Oh, sorry, my friend. I wish there had been a better way to go about that. So, as you can see here, we've already got a couple of pure iron ore nodes, which are going to be very important for us coming up. The limestone, as I remember, is down the hill, I believe, and I think that we have some copper right up here at the top of the hill. So, I think what we're going to do is maybe set up our hub right here in the center and work our way around from that. Again, this is early game, so we're going to be fueling a lot of generators by hand for the foreseeable future, but we'll make our way through it and see if we can't at least start rushing our way to coal. Now, here we go. Another spitter. Let's see if this goes better than last time. Oh, got me once. That wasn't too bad. Start digging our way here to some of the copper. Great. Now, I believe they start you off these days with enough resources you can get pretty far in your mining without having to set up the hub first. So if I remember correctly, we should be able to do some early stage production right away. So we're going to do that. We're going to skip the hand mining and get right into this. Now, obviously we don't have power set up for these yet, since we haven't set up the hub yet. But we will put the hub in over there, and I expect all of that can come together right after. Let's go set up this limestone next. Just grabbing some barrel nuts as we go. A couple of more leaves. As long as we're walking around, we might as well pick up as many leaves as we can. Oh, this is new. Ah, yes. They've replaced the old flowers with this new goo flower from a Hatcher, I guess they're calling it now, that spits out those nasty lightning bugs. Ah, there's another one over here. Oh, well, this might be our losing play, y'all. I'm very close to running out of life. Well, let's go ahead and get this limestone dug up. There we go. And let's see here, we will drop another miner on top of that, face it this way. Now all of this is very temporary early game setup, of course. We will be coming back through once we have better ways of automating and making less of a mess of this. Right now, it's still the beginning of the game, so we can't even build foundations yet. So we're going to have to get a little bit further before we can actually build anything that looks like a real base. All of this stuff that we're going to be setting up, we'll be removing in the near future. Go ahead here, pick up this last bit of iron to clear this node. There we go, and now we can drop in our last 2 miners for now. And of course, since we have 4 of the hand miners, we can set up 4 altogether of the automated miners, and that will give us our initial starting resources. So I think we have a decent amount of space over here that we could drop down our hub. I'm going to grab this coal just to clear the way. Now, everybody here knows that you can't use coal this early in the game, so we'll just stick that in a box for later. And let's take a look here. So we've got our iron over there, our limestone here, and our copper up the hill. So I think maybe right here around this big empty space would be a great spot to start sticking down our hub and then setting up our power production. So let's go ahead and grab our hub. Of course, it comes with all the parts you need to get started. And I'm going to point the back over here just to make power routing a little easier. So we'll do that since it gives us these first 2 generators for free, the biomass burners. And we'll get those started here in a second. We'll just check out our craft bench, our hub terminal. Of course, still haven't started tier 1 and 2, but I did skip tier 0 here. And our personal storage box. Let's just drop off some bits and bobs that we're not going to use right away in there. Great, and wood as well. So, I'm going to grab a little bit more of this foliage, so that we can make some biomass out of this. And that'll probably be the first automation I set up, just to make it a little easier on ourselves for fueling everything else we've got going on here. So, we're going to go ahead and set that up somewhere in this vicinity. I guess we could go ahead and put it behind here. There's not a lot going on over here. Looks like a good hill. So let's plunk down our constructor to start. Now, let's go ahead and... do we want that sideways? Do we want it facing us? I think the easiest way so that we get stuff out of both sides is to put it sideways for now. So we're going to plunk that down there. And then we're going to come over here and start connecting up our power. Now, one of the mistakes I used to make and the first time I played through this game was not just connecting up all of my grids. Sometimes I do a bunch of separate grids in remote locations, but your first couple of grids, you can go ahead and just put them together. It's not going to really hurt you. You need to have a lot of grids that are overlapping, I think. So we're just going to go ahead and start wiring up some of this stuff. Okay. Now, our first constructor. Let's get it building some biomass here. We're going to use leaves, and I've already got 500, so we can go ahead and get started on that. But it's going to need a little power to get going first. So first thing we do is drop off these extra leaves we've got in here. Hopefully that'll give it enough juice to get us some healthy amounts of biomass for the next couple of stages here. Okay. Few more leaves. Always collecting leaves as we go at this point of the game. Need as many as we can get our hands on, again, until we get to coal. And there sure are a lot here on this mountain, which makes it a really nice little starting point. Okay, looks like a healthy amount. I can't grab that one. It's stuck in the tree. Oh, there we go. And how are we doing? 40 already. That's great. We'll just wait till that gets to 50. I'll top it up real quick. Okay. And let's go back to our generator. So we're going to go to the second generator. I'm going to split this stack. And I'm going to go ahead and use half of that there. And then with the, few leaves I have remaining, I'm going to drop in the rest of the biomass. So that'll get going. So now we have both of these generators hooked up to this node, this power line. So I can go ahead and, now that I have a little more power, I'm going to bring that miner at the top of the hill online. Oh, but we're already at 4 connections. Well, early game power management, always a challenge. So we'll just drop another power line over here. Let's see how far we can take this one. Can I get over the hill to those? Won't let me go that far. Oh, too long. Well, we'll just set up a couple. And we're going to need that anyway, because these are going to go right into a couple of constructors themselves. And we'll bring those online. There we go. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, they do start you off with a decent number of opening resources here early game, which is great. We're not going to need a lot of concrete just yet, because we're going to do more base building in a little while. But for right now, we do need to get our iron production up and running. So the first thing we're going to do is drop a constructor over here. And I think we have enough for 3 of those. So we're just going to do iron plates here. No power, of course, right? Have to run power to all of our units. So let's give it some power. And then all we have to do is connect our belts. And our belts are connected. Okay, so we've got power, we've got belts, we've got iron ingots. Oh, you know what I did? What a great way to start the series. Forgetting already that you can't just use iron. No, you have to smelt it first. Right. You can tell how long it's been since I've started a new game. Iron ingots, that's what we need. That'll turn all of this iron ore that we've collected straight into that once we give it a little bit of power. Wonderful. Now we're cooking. Now we'll go back and drop our constructor right in front of that. And we belt it up. And we tell that to make plates. See, fresh from the oven. That's what we like to see. A lot of fresh iron ingots coming in, and that'll make us our iron plates. Okay, that's set up. Now, concrete, of course, it doesn't have to be smelted. I remember that one for sure. So we'll just drop a constructor over here. Connect it up. Give it some power. And we'll tell it that we want concrete. And belt it. Great, there we go. And last, let's deal with our copper situation. So here we have our production. We can just go ahead and put our smelter right by it. We don't need to go a long way away across the map for that. Good. I think I still have enough belts to connect. Good. We will run a little bit more power. You know what? I'm actually going to add another power line to a connector up here. I think that'll be a little bit more convenient. Again, only 4 connections on these. We'll tell the smelter we want copper, and it should get going immediately. And I don't have copper on me, good. And then we're going to go ahead and set up that constructor. I think I said assembler before, those don't come until later. But I can't afford it. Why? Because I need a little bit of wire. Just a little bit. Now, usually I don't really love having to go through and make a bunch of stuff by hand, but early game, we certainly have to make a few things until we have enough automation going on. So, for right now, we're gonna hike back here. Just can barely jump. And we will make up ourselves a little bit of wire just to finish that out. Great. And now we'll set up our next constructor. Oh, haha, not copper wire, but cables. Just need to finish making a few more cables. We'll just go a little over. Okay, so let's see here. Let's bring this down the hill just a little bit. A bit on an angle, like I said. All this we're going to replace. And the real question is, did I have enough iron plates to bring it all the way down the hill? And I do. We'll connect the power from here. And we'll tell this that we want to go ahead and make wire. Now, we're just going to start there with these few items. And I think we're going to very quickly be needing some iron rods as well. But I don't think I have enough resources to build the rest of the smelters and assemblers I need for that part of the chain. So we'll just go over here and we will pick up our iron plates, which we did not connect the power again. You know, one of these days I will remember that you have to actually run power to machines. And we'll come back and check on that in a few minutes. Let's see here. Cables are going. Concrete is going. Actually, let's go ahead and drop off all of this extra limestone that we have. Oh, most of it at least. And over here, a whole bunch of biomass. We'll load up our biomass machine. Keep gathering leaves. Here, we're just gonna give it a whole bunch more of our biomass. So we split that stack. Give you each 100. There we go. So you see, we're getting, it's only taking about 6 2/3 per minute of our biomass. So that'll last us a little bit longer. Leaves go real quick, which is why I try to skip leaves as early as possible. Again, we can't auto feed those into those burners, unfortunately. They don't offer that as an option. And of course, we are without refined power, as I lamented earlier. So in the meantime, we're going to keep picking a whole bunch of leaves and plonking them down into our machine. Okay, let's head on back. And maybe it's time to start unlocking some things in the hub. Let's do that real quick. So, hub, welcome back. Now, we definitely need some base building pieces. That's absolutely true. But right now, I'm more concerned about getting some basic logistics in place. Splitters and mergers are important. Very soon here thereafter, we're going to want to start working on some of our more advanced logistics. And you'll see some of the mods I've added. The linear motion elevator is a fun one that I'm eager to have once we get to a multi-level building. But for right now, we don't have rods, so let's just get started with the basic base building. So we need a lot more than we currently have of all of these items. Oh, and it looks like I was wrong. We don't actually need wires yet. What we do need is more rods. So we're going to have to take care of that pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and set up another smelter. Put it pretty close here. Will that work? Yeah, I think that'll work. So we're going to go ahead and set up one more constructor. And note that with Easy Mod, it wants to put it on the opposite side of where we're going to go. And I'm not going to be able to convince it otherwise. So due to lack of space, we're going to have to awkwardly stick it up on this hill, kind of floating in space a little bit. That's okay. Like I said, all of this is temporary. This too shall pass. And we'll go ahead and connect that belt up from our smelter. Connect up power lines. Now that we have a few more cables. And there we go. So we just tell this one we want to make some rods. And now we can just kind of let those go ahead and make some. We still need 100, so we've got enough plates now. It's going to be a while until we have enough rods. And of course, I think we have almost enough concrete. Enough to fulfill the immediate request, but we can let that percolate a little bit longer. Meantime, we are just gonna go picking leaves again. But yeah, it just feels like you're losing some of the points when you're trying to make everything by hand and shove it into the machine. I prefer to set up a few little single one-off machines to make the things you need for that tier, and then go away and come back. Okay, base building ready for launch.
Milestone reached. You have unlocked several structures aimed to provide the first needed to build basic factory infrastructure and
watch this thing lift off here.
Building these will provide a grid for more advanced organizing and sectioning of your factory.
Such a nice little touch. Just having that shoot off into space like that. Who knows where it's going? Who knows why they just left me here by myself? But let's see here. How long until the next milestone? Well, let's see here. Now, this time we're going to need copper wire. And that means we might have to trade off which power grid is on to be able to get this done. Let's go ahead and select that milestone. And we finally have storage containers now. This is going to make our lives so much easier, friends. Because now we don't have to, in theory, trek nearly as far back to base each time. So what we're going to do here, let's see how many we can build of those. We can build 3 to start. Let's go get some more rods. What I'd really like to do is set up about 5 right here in this area. I'd really love to have 1 for the copper wire, 1 for cables, 1 for our concrete, 1 for plates, 1 for rods. And you know what? If we're feeling very spicy, we can go ahead and fit a 6th one over here for screws for some of our rods to be turned into. Is there 6? Yeah, we can do 6 now. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, again, I'm hesitant to start laying down foundations when I'm just putting up temporary structures. I just don't feel like it's a good use of time to try and set up my grid this early.
Milestone exchange concluded. Fix-it freighter re-entry complete.
So I think I'll start over here. I think this is where I'm going to put my initial storage. So, like I mentioned, we're going to try and set up 6 of these. We don't want to have to walk too far. And again, we're using Easy Mod, so we can go ahead and set up those automatically in a nice, neat little row. We just have to figure out if this is exactly where we want them. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set that there. And note they're all facing out towards me here. So we're just going to do some awkwardly shaped belts to connect those up. Again, we're not getting any points for making it clean and pretty at this particular stage of the game. We're just connecting things to have them connected. Let's put that there. So now our copper is going to be coming in. Let's bring our plates around. We're going to do that to the second one, because again, we're going to split that one off into cabling here. Just can't do too long. Again, no points for perfection at this point. We can clip through some of the local terrain if we need. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna need more plates to do that. I'll just grab some as we go. Grab some more rods. And we're going to put that into the 3rd container. And then we'll bring this back this way, because we're going to want to put one more machine over here for our screws. We're just going to go ahead and connect that one up. Yeah, that is an ugly mess of belts. Yeesh. Okay, so there those go. Now let's see here. We can afford another constructor. So maybe we'll go ahead and set that up, since we're going to need those screws sooner rather than later anyway. And we're going to connect the outputs, but we're not quite ready to connect the inputs because of the obvious problem that we do not have splitters yet. That's the thing we're going to go for next. Splitters and mergers, which are really the workhorses of any good setup. You know, while we're at it, what would it take to put another biomass burner into play? Oh, we got enough for that. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and set this over here. We're going to put it real close to our existing ones, just for our own convenience. There we go. And this one is just about maxed out for this power pole. So we're going to need to start rewiring some of this stuff. I guess we could connect it over here. There we go. How are we doing? 81, 80. So that'll get us about, you know, a little over 10 minutes. And then we pick that up. And you know what? Do we have enough? Do I need to go back and get more? Yeah, let's go get a couple of more rods, and then what we're going to do is we're going to automate this too. It just makes a lot of sense at this particular stage to start making it a lot easier on ourselves for our power generation if we don't have a bottleneck right there. Okay, how are we doing here? Don't have a big backup. Again, the production speeds are so slow at this point. You know, you can kind of just take it as you go. Slowly. It's so strange after playing late game so much here to see these tier 1 conveyor belts just barely creeping through. What is it, 30 items per minute? Is that? Do I remember that correctly? Oh, 60 resources per minute. It just looks like it's crawling compared to those Mark 4 and 5 belts you get. Okay, we'll plunk down a storage container. You know what, actually if we do this from the top of this can make it a little bit easier to line these up sometimes if you get those arrows lined up. We'll do that one, and then we'll do another one over here. And hopefully these aren't too distant vertically that they can join together there. We'll do this one. And then we'll go ahead and fill this full of all of our leaves. Control click grabs all of any given item in and out, which is a handy little shortcut. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this third biomass burner online now. We're going to just give it those 12. I think that'll be a good start, and then we'll connect back up our copper line, because we're going to need that for this next set of items. Oh, what a spaghetti mess of wires and cables and belts, huh? Early game, folks. What a mess. Such impressive views in this game. Just never get tired of looking at these beautiful vistas that they set up for you. I find it interesting that in this game, unlike a lot of this category, this class of building games. They have a very closely hand-manicured sort of map that they've set up. You know, most games choose to go the route of having random maps. Minecraft, most notably, in the genre. But, you know, Factorio and some of the others also tend to do randomly generated maps. But this one, everything is very carefully curated. You know, they've got a great map team over there. They just did a bunch of updates to the cave system beneath the map. A lot of nice little additions in there that just make it feel, you know, like it's a little bit more painterly. It's curated. So you come across all these expanses that, you know, you stand and look from a spot and you're like, you know, somebody carefully designed it so that you can see the bits and pieces. You know, there's a little outcropping and you can see the little waterfall. You know, all of this is deliberately designed.
I strongly advise you to harvest this specimen.
Well, we're not doing that yet. I'm not ready to deal with those spitters, I'm afraid. But, you know, it draws your eye, is what I was getting at there. Very, very thoughtfully. Very thoughtfully. Okay, now we're getting a little bit impatient. We'll just grab these as soon as they come out. We're so close. 300. All right, perfect. That's exactly what we need for the next tier. So let's open up the hub, drop in all of our fine products, and launch that sucker.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. We encourage you to consider more verticality when it comes to factory logistics to streamline short-range transportation. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
Well, that's good to know. Well, I think that is a great starting point for our first episode. We've got a lot of things built and set up for the original Tier 1 production. I think in the next episode we're going to start splitting some of this out and get cables set up, get screws set up, and then start working our way towards some of the assembler production and other things that are going to get us quicker towards that coal power production, which will really help us set up for the real automation that's going to come in the game. So, thank you all for joining me for this episode, and we'll see you around next time.